back. It's DreamHack Open November, and it seems like we've been gifted a couple of fantastic series. Apparently, all of them feature KOVA, so that's actually quite nice. This one does as well. Illuminar versus KOVA. First map went to overtime in a very strange fashion, but it gave us some great moments, and I've got a great man on my side to cover them as well. It's Michael Yumi Cassidy.
Oh, stop. You're going to make me blush.
I
No,
hope
but
so.
this has been a great set of games. And you're right. KOVA has been the correlative factor. You know, they've been involved. Whether or not it has been the most fundamentally sound game, that is, I think that's far and away. But it has been, at the very
Entertaining.
least, exciting, hard to call. And that can be in a lot of ways a lot more entertaining, right? If it's bog standard,
Exactly.
everything, if everything's predictable, it's whatever, run
It's
of the shop.
Crucialis.
How dare they just win?
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Can't you
But
lose a couple of anti-ecos in there? Look at Snacks.
but as much as I'm an advocate for the chaos, I think that last map was a bit too much. So many anti-ecos lost, so many late round situations where it felt like the team that had the advantage just kind of lingered a little too long and actually allowed the other team to make an appropriate reaction. These are
He means
small
Illuminar.
things that add up, and Overpass is another rotation heavy map where you can end up in these sort of longer sits where you find an opening pick and you just wait for a response.
Well, look, one place where I have to say that I have to lean slightly more towards a one-sided affair in this particular map is the fact that KOVA has a pretty convincing win rate on this, which is why I think Illuminar should be the one winning it, because KOVA has a 0% win rate, which is about as convincing as it gets. Now, Illuminar, I will say I'm not a big fan of their overpass. Thank you for that one, Michael. I appreciate that. I'm not a huge fan of their overpass, but they definitely have some structure to their T side. They definitely have a method to the madness, and very often it's actually a very sane T side, which focuses heavily on clumping together 4 players and playing a 4+1 style. Again, it's a bit old school, but I feel like that's what Illuminar does very often anyhow. So maybe that's what makes it work for themselves.
Yeah, and it's something that can very easily go unpunished against teams that are maybe less familiar with the map. I think you were sort of talking about this during a little break as we hypothesized how Overpass might go. Is that this might just be a thing that they pull out this style, and teams that aren't too familiar are unable to punish, and so Illuminar can capitalize on that fact. Whether it's
Yeah.
this sort of slower style where they're holding continuously, or whether they can get just a lurk going by running that one player on the other side of the map. We'll have to see. I think KOVA have shown us that they are more than capable of dealing with some of these trickier mid to late round decisions, even if they are a bit unorthodox. You can't discount the method. And I mean, I've been really impressed by, I think, Spargo in particular. I think he
Yeah.
was the man that was highlighted as the newest addition to the squad, but he's fitting in really well.
Spargo is fantastic. And I mean, we saw earlier on that Piatola also had some of those magic juju beans that just let you clutch every single time you're in one. So if you can bring some of that into Overpass, maybe there's a shot for you. I have to say, it's always possible if you've got a good anchor player on the B bomb side, which is generally what Piatola plays on pretty much every single map. So if you've got a good anchor player on the B bomb side, and then you have a great opper to take control of A generally, yeah, that's a good place to start for your CT side at the very least. So let's not count them out or anything of the sort, as we will be heading into the game shortly. But if I have to give a prediction, I'm still sticking with my guns. I'm still sticking with the polls. It's probably going to be Illuminar to take this one away in a 2-0 fashion. But let's head into the game as well, as the best run will be going live.
Yeah, I think one of the big things for how that overtime played out was just how much more impact got from players like Veggie, Reets, and PHR, who did kind of fall asleep a little bit at the start of the game. Even Snacks as well. So the activations are there. Illuminar, we'll see if they can get it going on that T side. KOVA, I like that they're going for a bit of short control to start off the CT pistol, not just a defensive play. They actually push even further, and I don't think Illuminar are prepared.
Oh, Trixie, he has found one, but actually he missed all of his shots. Never mind, he tagged up his own teammate in the head. Veggie manages to clean up, and because of the missed shots. Now suddenly it's possible for the T side to overrun this B bomb side. Spargo and Piku still fighting back are good for one, and they keep things in their favor, but PHR needs to find it, and he just can't. So despite things getting dicey, it is back to a 1v3 for Illuminar. Can they get it done? They're waiting for the push to come in. All three CT players are very static so far. Triple peak comes through. That's a 1-2-3 go if I've ever seen one.
Yeah, they all stuck themselves into the corner and just swung together.
Yeah.
I like that that's the play that KOVA go for. Proactive pistol round from the CT side. It's not something that happens all too often. If there is, there's a bit more presence towards the connector. But KOVA just double pushing off of short. Illuminar get caught with their pants down. And maybe that's a little bit of a read into a game plan. Not sure if that's a direct counter to what Illuminar had to offer, but it almost felt like it. So, here's some promising signs just yet. Of course, pistols, deagles for Illuminar. These were a problem on Nuke. Spargo makes sure that he has easy duels, though.
And he has two of them. So, now it's a 5 versus 3. Illuminar. The triple deagle that they have has yet to really strike in anyway, but that's where PHR can rectify. At least he gets one quick long-range duel. Uli's not really in a great position to contest them in from a connector, but he will choose to do so anyhow. Get some good tags, and with the aim punch to assist, he will finish off the kill. The bomb's still nowhere close to a site where maybe it could be planted, so instead they're still searching for damage, and it seems like, well, Snacks will at least find the M4. So, some possibility of threat, but more than that, honestly, for me, I look at that and I say possibility of throwing away an M4. Give them one less rifle on that next one where you'll have full AKs, and that can be incredibly deadly, but Snacks would rather contest their economy in a more direct fashion, as he is trying to eliminate a couple of players. I really do think the play over here is, though, to just throw the M4 away.
Check it out, the map, yeah.
Yeah.
It's the most worthwhile weapon in the KOVA camp, so...
Yeah.
Absolute agreement. Snacks, though. Okay,
Oh.
Showing some effectiveness with it. The double kill, okay, showing the value of keeping that in his hands, but PHR now left to clutch a 1-on-2. They all have MP9s, and fast-footed towards the site. It will be Twixy to take it back for KOVA. That's a bit dangerous. They do get that M4 recovered. There should be a FAMAS en route. Yep, yeah. And so that can get juggled over towards Twixy. So both rifles recovered for KOVA. That's the best case scenario.
Yeah, their next round buy is actually still pretty strong, despite losing out 3 players. But even so, getting a bomb plant in, that's a cherry on top. That really does make those keeping the M4 in your hands worth it, like you mentioned. My problem is always perpetually going to be, in a way, this sounds really weird, and I haven't put enough thought into this, so bear with me, guys. But in a way, that's sort of the ill-advised play to go for. Just let the MP9s live. You know, throw away the rifles where you can. Obviously, in that situation, you don't really have a choice, to be honest. But if you can dispose of the rifles, why not? Give yourself a round versus MP9s and SMGs when you have full AKs. Uli, now though. Actually, Veggie's got one. Spargo goes down. Uli trying to trade, but he's not going to be able to. Veggie, great angle to be manipulating.
Yeah, and very separate fights here for Illuminar to start things off. Veggie didn't really have a teammate that was prepared to trade on that secondary duel, but still taking it. After winning the first one, I suppose far more accepting of his death should it have happened, but instead Illuminar start 2 men up. KOVA have moved into position to try and contest this B-bomb site, hedging their bets between the two. Twixy finding a kill, a secondary one at that, and he equalizes the affair. Illuminar, that's the bomb dropped in the monster tunnel.
3 Piatola can't get them though. It looked like he was ready for a spray transfer, but it's Pico instead to pick up the pace. 1 versus 1 now. Riyadh on the other side. Pico searching, but Riyadh is the Terminator. Just slow, steady, and you know he'll get it done.
Oh, come on, man. Pico's feeling good, lining up those 2 critical kills, softened up opponents, and Riyadh just takes it from his hands. That's the Illuminar first round. It comes to a one-on-one. The money, not the healthiest spot here for KOVA, just a scout. I think they're reconsidering how much they invest into it. Piku runs back to the buy area. Gets a deagle, some armor as well. Spargo, though, already primed. Nice scout headshot to start things off. Ooh! The second one of that. That's the bomb spotted and dropped as well. And they'll take that man advantage and fall back.
Not again, Michael. Not again, Michael. The faded anti-eco rounds, the eternal weakness for Illuminar. Seems like they are feeling old war wounds, hurt, but Spargo can't land that shot, and as he... Oh, what? Through the corner off the concrete, and PHR is good for one. Sure, PHR, that's nice. We'll give you a certificate for it. But Spargo's the man at the job interview, and he's slapping you away. Uli now comes in, Veggie to fall, PHR. At this point, dude... You've got to have some PTSD if you're Illuminar. What is going on?
This is the first time we've seen the scout contribute in any major way to one of these rounds, but I mean, don't peek him. God, the Spargo is hitting every single one of the shots that he's been given up, and PHR has no real hope.
It's also even more egregious because of how many USBs there were.
Oh yeah.
So like. Just don't peek him is actually applicable. Spargo at least falls over here. PHR is looking for this. He knows he sort of has to go for it at this point. But yeah, that's just another casualty. Like, I don't even know what's up with this, dude. The CT side even called a timeout. It seems like they'd called a timeout before the round was even over. But it's a terrorist who really need the talking to.
And yeah, the weird thing is for KOVA is that they didn't all really buy together. You can see that they were very separate. Spargo, I think, additional player joined him with the Deeg, and then there were so many USPs. It's like they weren't on the same page, and then Spargo whips that out of thin air. It's like, see, I told you. Should have bought with me. But it didn't matter. They win the round anyway. Oh, it's so confusing. Why the anti-eco's going this way?
Yeah. Illuminar. At least they have an AK, you know, in PHR's hands right now. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
it hurts.
It really does, but the AK unfortunately might not. At least not in PHR's hands. We'll still have to wait to see. Illuminar did have a couple of those good old eco victories themselves as well, so I wouldn't count them out, but I am kind of bad at counting. Now, Illuminar, you gotta chuckle. Illuminar, I'm sorry, dude. Like, this is the nicest thing I can say about this round in particular. But the problem over here, Michael, is that I don't know what I expect. So I'm really just primed for a Glock victory as well as just a classic normal round, but Spargo's positioning at least does lead me to believe it should be the latter. He's coming from behind. The MP9's really good over here, and as he spots out the player at long range, he won't be engaging him. He chooses to go for the safe decision, and I feel like we've needed more of that recently. Uli peeks in. That's the AK out of their hands. Picked up, yes, but not by an armored player.
Yeah, each of these duels is going to get harder and harder because of the fact they don't have armor on these players, and it might even be Spargo to run at them with the SMG to deal with this rifle, but no. Not converting on the spray. Undercompensating. Bullets fly over him. Actually making their way into the site. Yuli finding one. Piku as well. Peeking alongside. And this should be a shutout round here for KOVA. Okay, the SMG fights back with a couple of kills, so it's more expensive than it needs to be, but still a KOVA round. I think it always feels bad to sort of say, oh, you know, these rounds feel so disappointing, but especially because both teams seem to set themselves up in a way that leads for them to have an easier set of circumstances, only for them to continually sort of bounce back at them. That's really the hardest part, because then it keeps fueling into the chaos, the never-ending cycle.
Okay. That's a good way to start things off. It's also, it is, however, slightly punished. Look at Pietolo's position and Uli as well. Both of these players have gone so far forward that this could be the big punishment you generally want to see, but Uli's missed the spray! He's missed the spray! But Pietolo and Sparko, they're here. They've picked things up. They've brought it back to a 3 versus 3 at the very least. Mouse. Ooh, Sparko. Still actually very aggressive. He misses a shot. That's huge. That puts him in position where Mouse can see him. And now it's a 3v2 Twixie. Fast on route towards the B bomb site. And both players are split up on the KOVA side. How are they going to make this work?
At one time or another, KOVA just have to look for information. It's being separated like this when Illuminar are cutting information out. Not giving yourself the best chances to win. A kind of a botched smoke towards the connector. There's a huge gap. They start moving instead back towards the stairs, but really confusing around Pietola. Oh, doesn't clear party. And they've
20 seconds.
Gone past each other. Pietola might just think this A site is clear and start moving towards the B bomb site where Illuminar are not heading.
Oh my god.
15 seconds left. That's so ridiculous.
But he's going back? Is he going back? They haven't got the bomb plant yet. But even so, he might be able to find a quick pick, which makes it a 2v2. That's a big deal. But the smoke, he's chosen incorrectly. Should have gone towards back, but he couldn't have known that. And now, is it a save? He reveals his position. They know where both players are. That's an M4 and an AK. Both have separate sounds, so they know where these players are. But they don't really have much money on the Illuminar side. Going for a hunt might be questionable.
Oh, that is so heartbreaking for Pietola. The timing is good on the informational play, but it just doesn't clear out party. Doesn't look behind, doesn't even consider it. Expecting that if Illuminar were going towards that A site, they would have been far more progressed, but it's a really late call from the T side that kind of fakes them out as a result.
And I think this is also where not being an experienced Overpass player really does come into it. I don't even think it's a mistake to not clear party, to be honest. I just think it's a mistake to rotate all the way back if you haven't cleared it. Because if he's able to clear out toilets, and he knows one thing for sure is that, look, at the end of the day, if they come over towards A, I've got them. It's done. There's no way they actually get a clear Optimus by that point. Of course, it's always a gamble, but let's wait and see how this one plays out. Uli already in the position, while Illuminar, yeah, they're very clumped up. This is the problem I sort of have with the Illuminar, but I'll hold my thought as Uli's got PHR. He's taken away the lurk, and once the lurk is dead, yeah, you've got to go in. That's what Illuminar ends up facing every single time. Now Rietz is moving forward. A flashbang is good, and his spray is better. That is a great spray. Piku though has a decoy. Maybe he can make it. Whoa.
Never mind.
Wah, wah, wah.
And that is the sound of sadness. Just the two KOVA rifles over at A, like you said, being very productive, shutting out the lurker, but just not being in a close enough spot to really help that B bomb site. That's where the troubles lie. Illuminar, solid round towards B, and yeah, I could definitely see this being a sort of a telltale sign, something that could become habitual for Illuminar, especially against teams that are more likely to sort of throw sort of better timed Molotovs as soon as they maybe even get that lurker, just really allowing for four rotations to come through.
Yeah.
This actually happens in a round where KOVA have fairly limited utilities, so does almost
Slightly
feel like the right move in that regard, but whether how often this is cold for Illuminar is a whole different ballgame.
Well, we'll have to wait to see how it progresses, because now we are entering dangerous waters, Michael. You know what time it is, Michael?
Oh no.
Don't say it, Michael. Don't say it.
Pistols out here.
There are pistols and there are USBs on top of it. Well, at least they find the first M4, but is that really just a trap being set up? Uli on that last solitary AK and the triple stack that the CT players have over towards B will probably not be finding anything.
Yeah, we were expecting the least interesting player in the stack.
You say that, but no one cares about his story, you know?
No one ever asks how the stack.
They only ask about the top of the stack. It's a hard life out there.
Quadruple boosts from T-Spawn. It's always the guy on top.
Yeah, ooh, Snack's got a kill, but what about us? Literally standing on the shoulder of giants.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the stack, like the boost, over at B, Illuminar slowly working up towards the A site, so there should be no real surprises. They took a gamble, they took a chance, and it hasn't paid off. It should be an equalizing round for Illuminar. That is exciting stuff, especially considering the circumstances that took them to this point.
Yeah.
Even after meeting a bit of turmoil, it was a late round rotation that started to get them in a bit of a better stride. And KOVA are looking forward to the next bye, seeing if they can hold on to that lead.
It's also very important over here to look at how the KOVA economy is going to be shaping out. This is not a 4-3 where KOVA started up 4-0. Their loss bonus is just $2,400, if I'm not wrong. So with that in the next round, once again, you're going to be finding yourself in a position where, oh, PHR is going forward. If you can find the AK, that'd be huge, but Uli's got the kill. PHR is holding his trigger, and although Pika will fall, maybe another USP will go down with it as well. The actual kill of value is Uli. No one else matters at all. Uli will keep himself alive, and this is where things get really, really difficult. Is because, again, Michael, like you said before, the style Illuminar is going for with the 4+1 set, that works really well versus teams that don't have Molotovs and nades. And that's why you'll have a significantly weaker buy. I like the decision, though, from KOVA to go for that.
They've got the scout in Spargo's hands. Yeah, no kit. They are playing to fully lock them down. They've got presence out long. Spargo trying to peek above the smoke as well. They're waiting for it here on Illuminar, and Snacks finds the kill over at the top. Twixie activating as well alongside. They've pushed into the playground. Yuli finding another. That gap in the plywood makes all the difference. Peku as well, finding an additional kill, but this B bomb site has been laid to waste. Mouse able to secure a pathway for Illuminar to get that into the site, but KOVA, they're going to be fast on those rotations too.
And this 2 versus 3 is going to be dicey, but Snacks is at a good spot to be. He can lock out the Heaven player potentially if he's just able to scope in at the right time. Wants to get a kill before he plants a bomb, but the rotation from the CT isn't fast enough to actually allow it. Now the question is, where does he peek? Sees the player in Heaven, sees the head. Can he find the kill? Scopes out at the wrong instant, and he will be allowed to live a while longer, but so many different angles to be worried about, so many different shots to be careful from. Flashbang comes in. He's waiting for Mouse to come in, give him the backup he needs so he can be the second point of contact. Mouse, though, has been smoked off, and Snacks has been brought down. There's a gap in the smoke, and Mouse is exploiting it. Gets one, gets two, needs to move forward, and he sees the player. Can he get the spray? Goes for the knife. He's got it, but oh, so close. So close right there. 4 kills for Mouse in that round, Michael. 4 kills.
And Twixie, there was no kit. We talked about it for KOVA. They had to stick, and as soon as he starts to hear the slashes, he gets off it. Not close enough on the defuse to really threaten it all the way.
Michael, can I just say Twixie had head armor and $50? Guys, don't get head armor. It's actually useless. But one thing I will actually commend KOVA for, as I will let you process my triggers, is that Illuminar went for a very interesting stack over there. The only way Snacks is able to get the kill of Spargo is because of the stack that they had. But I think KOVA actually realized it, and they were able to quickly encompass and punish the fact that 2 players are remaining at the foot of playground for that long. And as a result of that, they're actually able to get the 3v2. Sure, the clutch goes the way of Illuminar, but that'll happen. Those things will happen. You know, clutches will sometimes not go your way. That's perfectly fine. But at the end of it all, it did come off the back of a good advantage they gained from a great recognition.
Yeah, and once again, they find their way onto this B-bomb site. Peku getting one. The AK does get recovered. Long arms do extend outward. And Illuminar are kind of contained here into the site. This kill towards Peku makes all the difference. Yuli, now from behind, will get spotted out. Sure, the shot from the AWP will be missed, but now that they know where he is, no real surprises. Yuli's not even really posturing up for this one. Throwing a smoke, caught in the back. Illuminar, round number 6. Good stuff. Yeah, I have definitely been seeing the amount of head armor being brought up by the CT side.
Yeah.
And it does lead a lot to be desired, especially when we talk about the utility being absent at times.
Yes. Yeah,
And it's happened again in this round. So.
Yeah, 4 kits. It's these are small things, but honestly,
yeah. They add up.
We literally just saw a round where it adds up. Just now. Veggie, however, I don't even know where he got that kill or how he got it, but he did indeed find it. Was that through the plywood? Like
through connector door?
No, I don't know. Is it? I think that actually, I guess it's the only place where it could be from. The only other place is the spray you can do to a player pushing in through short, but I don't think that's where the guy
it was
died.
it was on the jump spot, I think.
Yeah, I guess it's through connector door. Snack, that's a P250 kill. Uli is a trade coming through in favor of Illuminar, and suddenly a 4 versus 2. Excellent place to find yourself. And Piku, he's also being put in a situation where, look, saving's nice and all, but Illuminar, if they win this round, that's probably 8 rounds on their T side already. That's not a healthy half if you're the Finnish side.
Yeah, and this is all with KOVA actually winning an anti-eco round as well, on top of it. It hasn't been the cleanest of stuff. When Illuminar have been on rifles, they've been more successful, but Piatola in a great position to cut them out of the connector. The bomb dropped at his feet. The reload may give his position away, and that could have been a timing to swing. Illuminar do eventually get Piatola out of position, and Peku doesn't get out of the heavens, so Malzinho pushes him in towards hell. 7 for Illuminar. What?
Oh.
Why did he give up? Yeah, why did he give up the close con position? It seemed like he was running away when we saw him through the X-ray.
I think he just wanted to play the time and move back towards Monster, I guess. That's the only other... Or maybe he thought that I need to start... I don't know, actually.
Yeah, just assuming you can escape is already a big assumption to make.
After you've gotten 2 kills there, especially?
Yeah.
Anyhow, KOVA now will be looking for some sort of heroics and have aided them time and time again, but this time a little bit less so. This map, they've only found 1 eco round win, which sounds like it's an indictment to Illuminar, but really it's a congratulations. Uli does have an MP9, that can be dangerous, but even more so is Spargo. Great kill, and Uli is setting up for disaster. Spargo recovers the AK as well in connector, and the bomb's actually on top of him. He doesn't realize that yet, but that's such a difficult place to find a kill for the terrorist side that they have to be 10 times more careful trying to retrieve the bomb. Mouse, though, his position could be everything, but he's been tagged heavily. The CZ at range has brought him down to 57.
Oh dear, surely not. All this tag damage. It is slowly beginning to build and mount. Spargo, ooh, spotted out. Head offered up to PHR, and while it's not a headshot, still a great opportunity found. That's the rifle. So one less thing to worry about as they move towards these sites. It's going to be a close timing again, 20 seconds. A smoke thrown in towards the truck, but it's a feign. It's actually the B bomb site where they head, and Twixie's found a crucial kill on the CZ. Every kill he finds buys even more time that Illuminar don't have much of. 8 seconds, they need to get themselves on the site. That's it. That's the round. The bombs drop. Illuminar just spending far too long thinking about their next move, and KOVA win the round on time.
Okay.
I'm sorry,
Michael?
man, but this just can't keep happening.
You're killing me here, guys. You're
You
really
are.
killing me.
The thing is, I can understand their hesitation and wanting to make the right move, but the contingency plans aren't there. This used to happen in the early stages of Overpass. Back when the map was a little newer, you know, trying to feel things out. You had that sort of vintage CIS style, the classic Na'Vi plays. I thought we were past that.
That's what I keep saying. It's like Illuminar really looks like they're playing a very old school style of CS on Overpass. And the worst part is that glimmers of this were showing on Nuke as well, where they're waiting till the last 10 seconds to go in. And look, man, we saw OG versus Cloud9. You casted OG versus Cloud9. That doesn't end too well on Nuke. Like, and you put it on Overpass, guess what? No difference here either. You waste too much time, CTs have got the advantage, well, you're not going to get a bomb plant down. And now Illuminar, they're up against more than they need to be. As has been the case many times over. Piatola line up, but he can't finish off more than just one. Still, it's Twixie to come in, aid, and a bet in murder. And that is a few more in his favor. Uli is at least going to fall, so it's back to a 3v3, but calling these players 3 on the terrorist side might be giving them more credit than their HP at least deserves.
Snacks is trying to be sneaky. If Piatola had walked through that monster smoke, would have been in for a surprise, as Snacks would have been around the other corner, hovering just above. Illuminar, once again, they're trying to outmaneuver KOVA here.
Astralis have got nothing on Snacks. Riots, though. Oh, PHR finds Piku. That's very important. That's huge. Because now the B bomb side is open for business. Piatola, by the time he comes over, the bomb should already be planted. But still, he sees a player. He can't finish it off. The missed shots. PHR steps up when his team needs him the most. And Spargo's decided, I think I'm going to be saving, guys. Or is he? He's thinking about it. He doesn't have a kit. Is there a kit on the site? I don't think so.
Funnily enough, I can check.
Indeed. Is there?
No, there is not.
Yeah,
no
that's
hope.
what I thought.
Goodbye.
Indeed.
Oh, wait, there is one CT. By Graffiti, where PHR is, but okay.
Yeah,
as it's taken me so long to figure that one out, Spargo didn't consider it. He had better communication. And will he be able to hold on to the AWP? Okay.
Ooh.
Yeah. He's doing little spins, little twirls. Just at the tail end. Okay. Quick scope and full. Honestly, I'm liking the flare from Spargo when we actually get to see it, but it feels like it is a rarity at times. Tail ends around, so that's not as impressive.
In Overpass in particular, what we're seeing is repeatedly that KOVA is not in a position to set him up. This is something that I've actually criticized about Illuminar on Train, but I will say this about KOVA over here as well, is that very often you don't know how to find the information that your operator needs to rotate before a bomb is planted. And it seems like those protocols are slightly missing. Double nade gives them the smoke that Piatola needs to get a kill, but it's actually Maus in behind who gets the trade and brings it forward to a 4-on-2. Maus has been putting his team on his back right now, and it's time to see if Uli and Spargo can take it off, because this has to be a retake they go for.
Yeah, saving again here would just be so... It's maybe just such a bitter pill to swallow, but yeah, you have to do it. Spargo, eventually making that rotation away. Had to wait just to make sure he didn't get spammed.
Yeah. And
Illuminar aren't going to hunt. They lost all their players in the last round. They're, of course, conscious.
They might find Uli, actually. No, never mind. They're not going.
Yeah, they're a little far away.
Yeah.
And you don't even really feel like you're pressured to hunt here, Illuminar, because you have been so consistently just not feeling the presence of that AWP. It's been circumnavigated.
Might be... Oh, that's excellent. It's always nice to see players use like those little plywoods to their advantage. Makes it work nicely. And now, 9-5 Illuminar. We talked about how on Nuke the magic number was a 10-5 scoreline for them, but that I don't know if that applies for the T side of Overpass. I feel like T side of Overpass 7-8 is the magic number. 9-5 is, well, Hogwarts has already called you and you're about to graduate. Our production in the background really does humor me.
Adds a little extra sometimes. Oh, Reets though. Little extra on top for Illuminar. Great entry. Miles has been finding them over towards B. Reets this time over at A. Spargo activated this time round. The AWP finding a little bit of success. The thing is, it's come down to these later round decision sort of moves in for Illuminar. Sure, one of them's gone against them in terms of running out of time, but these small little flashes, these small little fakes that they throw, KOVA have set up in positions where they can potentially cut off the rotation away from the connector, but Illuminar are going away from it. They've gone instead towards Monster, and Twixie doesn't seem to be any the wiser.
And with that flashbang, Reitz has taken all the control in the world. Piatola's left, and he's going to try and make it work, but he's spotted. Piatola, right down there in water, needs to get his elbows rolled up, but he's had his elbows pushed into him. Reitz takes him down. It's a 2 versus 4, and finally it's a retake you cannot run away from. Spargo and Piku on the hunt, on the chase. Spargo's got 1. Can he make it more? Yes, he can. Back down to a 2v2. Piku needs to get the Riyad's kill, but Mouse is on the side, but he can't survive. Piku's done it. He's done it, and he's got a kit. He'll be able to take it away.
What an effort from Spargo. The 2 kills in towards the site for the retake. It's a recovered-ish half from KOVA. They get a 6th round, but Illuminar lead with 9. The second half still to deliver.
Sun shines bright, oh yeah, feeling breezy and easy. It's a beautiful day, oh, and I'm gonna be just fine, yeah. It's a beautiful day, oh, and I'm gonna be just fine. It's a beautiful day. Beautiful day. It's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful feeling breezy and easy. It's a beautiful day. Oh, and I'm gonna be just fine. Yeah. It's a beautiful day.
After a heroic 2 versus 4, KOVA guaranteed the 6, but can they guarantee the second half? I'm Teed, I'm bringing you all the DreamHack Open November action with Michael Yumi Cassidy. And here we are, Illuminar on the CT side, aggressive through B short, might be about to find Uli. Uli is not the first contact though, Twixie will go down, Uli to follow, and sure, Spargo can respond, but it is with 2 that he takes control of the site.
Oh, they're wrapping the pillar though, so as soon as that bomb gets planted, KOVA lose the planter. They have to push for deep spawn control, and Spargo's got it. 3 kills to his name, could find more, but Veggie is fighting back with 3 of his own. Now it's just Piku from a distance, seeing if he can find the right opportunity to strike. There's not a kit on either of these 2 Illuminar players, so time is really going to be difficult. In fact, it's deep. The kit, I think, was en route towards spawn. They go and recover it, but Reitz puts it up to bed anyway. So Illuminar get to double digits. They get that pistol round on their belt. And KOVA not looking good to start off this second half. He's talked about 6 rounds maybe not being enough for the T side. The pistol would have been a nice little cherry on top.
Well, Illuminar will be stealing that cherry away, and one thing I do have to give credit for is Sparkle on that entry path. Oh, what a few set of kills that he was able to find. But Illuminar's setup was very nice. They really look to be taking advantage of the fact of how fast rotations can be made on a map like Overpass, but that's a missed Molotov, I believe. However, secondary Molotov is in place, and Snacks was trying to exploit it. No, Snacks. There's a deagle on the other side. We know what this means. Snacks is in danger, but can his teammates bail him out? That's a tag from a scout. PHR gets a hit, but he can't get a kill.
Yeah, Spargo has to respect the scout. It treated him well on the CT side, so receives the tag. Nothing further. This is where you'd want to swap it over into better hands. Yep. Piku, given the rifle, given he's healthy. And Miles, oh, the timing may not work out for him here. Yeah, Piatola finding him as he makes that rotation in from behind. That was some great information for Illuminar to hold on to, but containing them was really the main objective in going for that mission. And that's a failure. So now Illuminar have to be very worried about this B bomb site. And look at the space that's created towards A. Spargo is still investigating with the MAC-10, and nobody's really here for Illuminar.
And that's always a problem in a 3 versus 5. How much ground are you going to give away, and where are you going to give it away? And it seems like the problem for KOVA's not going to realize that there's a player in the back lines. Are they taking a duel? Are they checking for this angle? Sure, Spargo's going in, but look at the CT player. We've got to keep an eye on him as well. Spargo's going to hear him, and there goes Riats. We've got to look at Riats. Look at Riats. Veggie's got one Riats in the behind. Riats has made it all work. We're watching the wrong flanker. Riats. So every single player lines them up beautifully. Illuminar in the 3v5, even when it looked like they'd given up the round due to Spargo's positioning, they're still in it.
Yeah, it was Connector, where Illuminar had found ground themselves to take, and they strike simultaneously from barrels as well as from behind. I was so focused on Spargo. I thought he was going to be the massive difference maker, but what a great read of the situation from Illuminar. Now it's just pistols for KOVA in response. This was, I mean, should have been an easier round. You know, touch wood. The rounds have been nothing even close to easy in this game.
Yeah. PHR will be at least making this a slightly smoother journey than a few of the ones we've had so far. Snacks is very low on the Mag 7 actually, and he will use... Okay, Snacks. Just pulls out a USB instead. So I don't want any of this.
Why'd he even spend all that money?
I know.
The Mag 7's such a waste.
It is a little bit ridiculous, but the timeout comes out from KOVA. They know it's time to sit down around the drawing board and, well, draw up a strategy.
Getting Spark on the AWP has to be the play.
Yeah, I feel like you really need that to happen. But KOVA, let's not forget, this is also where the most pressure is on them. You are potentially 4 rounds away from being eliminated from a DreamHack Open. You know, that's also been the story of DreamHack Open throughout pretty much all of recent history for Counter-Strike, which is that if you are a team that wants to prove themselves, you win a DreamHack Open. That's what gets you noticed. That's what that's what gets you invites. That's what gets you in through the door of the ESL Pro Tour. You know, that's where, you know, close qualifier invites. Yeah, you've got it. A couple of other smaller cup invites. Yeah, you've got it. Deep in the playoffs you can go. That's what it says about you. But right now they're 4 rounds away from potentially being eliminated. And Illuminar Gaming have started this one off nicely, but the trade is there.
They're still sort of lingering in towards middle as well. Maybe not quite ready to give up that control to KOVA. Especially with Snacks having that Mag 7. Only so many places you can be effective with that particular gun. So Illuminar hold true to their setup. Not peeking as deep, allowing KOVA to investigate both the playground position and potentially long, but they head towards party. There is a party waiting, but not one that KOVA are too prepared for. Flash on over, Reach to try and peek a little deeper, but they've already made their way past. Over towards long, KOVA have separated, and they're actually fairly split. It's the AWP and Spargo, as well as Piku with the bomb. So this could be devastating if Reach gets more than one in this position. That could be everything. Spargo almost dropped. Piku low HP as well. So Illuminar get a whole lot of information to play off of.
Information, yes, but man advantage still in the favor of KOVA, Michael, and this is where that information might not matter. Spargo is leading the charge with the AWP and the back lines, and in he goes. PHR eliminated. Snacks' Mag 7 will not get a kill. And it just leaves Mouse in a 1 versus 4, where trading might be preferable, but it will not be permissible.
That almost goes so wrong, it felt like, for KOVA. Sure, they double up towards long. It's at the start a missed shot from Reitz that really allows for that to happen. Because it almost felt like he found the timing on those long players. They're so concerned about a deeper peek from the A site. But Illuminar were closer than KOVA may have anticipated, but they win a lot of individual fights. Some critical ones at that. Now Illuminar have been knocked down a peg, down to the upgraded pistols. I won't count these out. They are still a very decent threat coming into these rounds. KOVA are playing it slow.
Illuminar. The question is, can they find some of that force buy, half buy, no buy magic that has apparently been assisting KOVA all this time? And with their setup, honestly, their setup's not the worst, even if they have to rotate slowly and late in towards the A side again. But if they can just get that 1 kill in from the monster player, that is massive. Especially because KOVA right now are for sure considering, what if they have a stack on A? We actually don't see anyone. Piatola is fully cleared out the B bomb site. So now he's actually going for the supreme pincer. A pincer into a stack is such a bold decision.
Oh my goodness.
With 30 seconds left, this could all go wrong. Piatola has to be the one to finish it off, has to be the one to break in. He's got 1, he's got 2. The spray transfers there, and it looks like catastrophe might be evaded, but am I speaking too soon? Riaz has got 1, but not the second. Snacks left on a 1 versus 3. They are not going to be forfeiting that round, Michael. Oh, it looked very dicey for a few seconds, but Piatola, he makes it work, and no one's watching the back lines.
Oh my god. To flank against pistols. It's just, the risk is so much higher than the reward, but I mean, if it works, I guess. Anyway, back to normal gun rounds. Spargo on the AWP, Snacks as well. KOVA have been going for these slower rounds. Illuminar, do they offer up that fight in middle? Does Snacks peer atop of it? Does rattle off the shot. They may chase right through. The flash is good. Rietz has to fall back as well. And not too much damage found on these KOVA players. They've pushed Illuminar back towards the site, and Spargo actually taking down Snacks, lingering a little too long in the bathrooms.
And that's all up to Rietz. He has to beat, but Rietz is going to get these kills. Rietz has got 1, but PHR is the one to follow. PHR is actually sealing them all. 3 kills for him. And where Illuminar have struggled in anti-ecos and anti-force buys, the gun rounds have largely been clean. Spargo taken down up next, and Rhea swings out from behind Divider. Finishes the remaining 2 players off. And that pops him up with the best of them. Riats, Veggie, PHR, all neck to neck. But really, the man who rises above them all is still Spargo, dude. 23 and 16. He's winning op duels repeatedly. I feel terrible for him with the way he's playing.
Yeah, I think he's definitely been the most consistent throughout all the series we've seen today. He seems to be this ray of hope for KOVA, but that ray is being blocked out. Cool shades by Illuminar, in spite of what their name may suggest. Spargo peeking over towards short, but ooh, decapitated quickly. Miles, make sure that that's not an opportunity found here for KOVA. So a man down, and they're still outside of this B tunnel with no threat of an Illuminar flank. They really want to commit to this B side split. I don't know that this is going to work out too well. They're giving up a lot of control. A lot of uncertainty starts to hit for KOVA, and the double swing for Monster, it's going to happen. Veggie getting flashed up, and PHR able to compensate successfully. But Peku answering back with 2 critical kills. Twixie as well makes things even worse here for Illuminar, so they have to give up the site. They're not in great enough positions. Reitz, the closest man to it, see if he can get himself a foothold, but the duel is awkward into the 2-on-2.
And Reitz and Snacks will have to step up at this point. At least they have a kit, but it's on Snacks. If he goes down before being able to drop into heaven, this round is over and done with there and then. He's so careful, but Piku, he's the one taking a duel. Riats is not brought down yet. He has to push in. Oh, his position finishes it all already. Riats has to fight them out so quickly, but he can't find them. And KOVA's playing the time and doing so perfectly. Riats needs to back off, and he knows it. If he can save the AWP, that's huge. But even that isn't really a luxury afforded to him. No longer any time, and that's just a matter of who has the kit, really. That's unfortunate. And a pause should be coming out soon. Illuminar has had a player disconnect, but Michael, that was dangerously close.
Yeah, and that's Peku stepping up in a big, big way. Losing his teammate, but getting the double kill out towards Monster makes it so they can focus on Heaven, actually flush out the additional player towards that B bomb site. And it just made the rotations that much harder there for Illuminar. They just weren't in the positions to correctly deal with it after the fact. Comes down to the one-on-one, sure, but it's another round that inches them closer and closer to Illuminar's lead. This pause is really going to, I think, give them a lot of time to consider what their options can be. I mean, you don't always want to look at technical timeouts as sort of extended tactical ones, but I mean, I feel like that is an assumption that could be made.
I think there's actually referees now in TeamSpeaks and everything.
Ah, that could be nice.
Yeah, like that.
Then what if people are boot camping and they just, or what if they have a Discord?
Look, you know, at the end of it all, there's always a way. But I think I'm not 100% sure because look, the last time I read the DreamHack Open rulebook directly was when I still coached, and it's been a while since that. So I'm not 100% sure, but I think they have that now.
Yeah, I mean, even from the perspective of even if you don't have to discuss it with your teammates, as like an in-game leader, this gives you time to sort of ponder.
Yeah, that's true. You
run calculations in your own head as well. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's definitely true. Now, one calculation that I've been running for a while is what is Snacks doing? Because the problem for me is so far is that these young ones are stepping up way too often. And generally speaking, you want the veteran to either be able to pop off in a pressure moment, or you need him to be able to pop off, just find a couple of early kills by getting aggressive in a way that a young player maybe doesn't have the experience and the confidence to be able to go for it. I'm slightly concerned. Sorry, go for it.
I think in general, Snacks is that guy as well for Illuminar.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's the thing. Like in this series only, not even in the previous one. You know, against Gambit, we saw a couple of moments where it looked like he could make it work. But in this series particularly, it does seem like KOVA's done something where Snacks is not feeling as comfortable as he normally does.
No, yeah, I can definitely agree with that, and I almost wonder whether that comes down to the threat and just the constant pressure that's been applied in these sort of force buy rounds and anti-eco rounds. I feel like that actually does play a bit into it, just the aggression that's been kind of thrown his direction. Because I think Snacks is best when he's the one aggressing, but if things are kind of thrown into chaos, then how does he navigate out of it?
Yeah, Snacks is generally, like, I feel like I've classically put Snacks at his best where he knows where the other team is, and now he can work off of that, force them to make a move according to him, all that good stuff. Bialy was typically the one who would aggress in Virtus Pro, get all that information, and then off the back of that, you've got Snacks coming through, being cleanup, knowing how to work off of it.
Like the advanced Polish Brax.
Look, man, no one cares about Brax anymore, Michael.
True,
Go away.
yeah, sorry.
Okay? Like, I don't even remember how Brax used to play. That's how long it's been.
That's true.
Yeah. Anyhow, back to the game as we do have a resume. Illuminar have gone for a cobbled together buy is, I think, a fair way to put it. But KOVA might just be walking right into a trap. KOVA's going in with his 3 players, and one of them is at barrels already. He's trying to protect himself. These CTs are getting killed. PHR's got one. PHR lines them up, but he can't spray them down. Instead, it's just a headshot into Uli, and it's Veggie cleaning up, but Twixy gets another. Veggie needs more. He's dropped the bomb. It's a 3v2. Smokes himself off as well. How are they going to get past into him? Vetri again repositions at the foot of heaven where he'll finally go down, but Uli's so low. Uli is dead. That's a nade to finish him off, and now a 2v1. And Spargo, he doesn't have utility. He doesn't have a clue. He's not checked the right place. He's not checked the right spot. And as he drops down, he reveals himself as well as picking up the bomb, and Snacks will finish it off. 14-9 Illuminar. Boy, oh boy. That's such an important round as well. KOVA just walks into them. BHR, even though he just gets 1 kill, that's beautiful.
Yeah, the money is really, really bad for KOVA as well.
No loss bonus either.
You now move into a situation where you kind of have to save if you're KOVA. If you want a proper, feasible chance in the next round, even then that's...
Yeah, that's the problem. $1,900, Michael.
Even the follow-up round isn't that pretty.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
I feel like you have to gamble. We haven't seen
buy.
a single force buy from KOVA just yet.
Yeah.
This is the first force buy from KOVA all day across 2 series. 2 of which rather have gone to 1 or more overtimes. The first force buy. And we'll have to see whether or not they can make it work. Piku, oh, he's the one with the Galil. Has to chime in, has to come alive. No real option not to. And as he will be dismantled, Piku's got 1. PHR though trades, and as he's switching guns, Snacks will fall. 3 versus 3 and guns to be picked up. Suddenly, a little bit more dicey, a little bit more scary for the CT side.
Coming out of the connector is such a spooky prospect. Reitz is in such an advanced position towards the bathrooms that if one step is made, I will have information to play off of Reitz. A kill found, 2 in fact, and it's just Twixy. Low HP on him for KOVA in a 1-on-2, and this site is still occupied. Mals shuts him out. A 15th for Illuminar. The money gone for KOVA. 2k in the bank. It has to be another force buy to keep them in it, and it has to be 6 straight. Surely not. We've seen so many of these rounds overturned by KOVA. Illuminar's anti-ecos haven't been the best. But to do it in such a crucial moment, for KOVA to have another miracle moment like that to keep them alive here in DreamHack Open November, I just don't know if it's going to be possible.
It can't keep happening, can it? That is a big problem. Veggie's going in. He's got 2. Looks for 3. And Snacks has got another. Illuminar will be guaranteeing themselves a spot tomorrow on the A stream. The DreamHack Open November. It's a heartbreaking place at some points, but This is one of those points for KOVA as they will unfortunately be eliminated from the tournament. What a run they've had. What a run Spargo's had, dude. This guy, for me, he was the MVP of this series.
Yeah, I think both him and Piatola, I think, are the kind of revelations from this side. I think Piatola definitely had a bit more sort of glimmers, whereas Spargo just was more flashes of brilliance. It
Yeah.
seemed like he was shining the brightest for the KOVA side, and you could see just the, I think, amount of onus he put on some of the rounds, but just wasn't able to get the same level of contributions. He was having some good impact in this game, but
Yeah.
towards the latter stages started to taper off, and so things do fall away. That is just how the cookie crumbles. Illuminar did feel like they were making some better mid to late round reads, even if it cost them quite a few rounds as well on Nuke and Overpass alike. It was really hard to separate these two teams categorically because I think it was as close as that.
I do think if Nuke had been won, it could have been a KOVA victory. If you go to Train, where the op-on-op duel is Spargo versus Snax, that's a different story. That's a different beast. I think Spargo dominates that one. And it's so unfortunate that Overpass is a map that KOVA is not entirely experienced on. They're not entirely comfortable on. Even before this, they had a 0% win rate. So we're never really expecting too much from them. But we've also got to look over towards the other side. Illuminar, they had a few very big step-up performances. I think Mao's in particular was really shining across the series, doing very well for being able to keep them alive, keep them in. Riot's has had his moments as well, but PHR, how can I go without mentioning this guy? As the in-game leader, some of the frags that he was pulling out were insane, Michael.
Yeah, and I think that was the biggest thing that separated the two. If there was going to be a separating factor, was that it was more of a team effort. When Snax, we highlight the fact that he's typically this kind of big fragging power for Illuminar. When he goes slightly missing, you need to fill that void with other players, and it was these sparks of Veggie and PHR and Reitz all kind of chiming in alongside him, and Mao's in particular was the one that seemed to have the most consistency, but that level of depth just didn't seem to be there for KOVA.
Well, look, listen, that's all from us over here at the B stream. It's going to be DreamHack Open event, but continuing tomorrow. You can check all the action out tomorrow at twitch.tv/DreamHackCS. And of course, before we head out, I've got to give a quick little bit of love. You know who I'm giving some love to, Michael? You want to take a guess, Michael?
The sponsors!
I was going to say Twitch chat, but sure, then too.
Oh, I mean,
Intel,
yeah, you can shout them out
MSI,
if you want.
Corsair, Monster, and DTS. Really helping us put on a show, really helping us feature all of this talent. People like Spargo, you don't really see them in the same light, in the same stage, if not for these guys sponsoring us. So make sure you guys go and support them as well. I'll repeat them: Intel, MSI, Corsair, Monster, and DTS. Fantastic companies. Been helping esports since pretty much, day one practically of their existence. But I'm gonna have to call it a day today, and I'm sure Michael has as well. We're gonna go to a break that's slightly longer. We'll see you again tomorrow on the main stream. It's twitch.tv/DreamHackCS, and see you guys later.